So today we moving over into the code language conversation, which is also known as our final prayer. And today we're going to be discussing hypothetical. So we're going to go to the book definition, as we always do. And the definition of hypothetical of based on, or serving as a hypothesis. Hypothetical of, based on, or serving as a hypothesis. That's what a hypothetical is, okay? So let's start like this. Brother Souls, when you hear the word hypothetical, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
A possible situation.
Okay, a possible situation. I'll say the first thing that comes to mind when I hear hypothetical is not real.
Okay.
Or not real yet. One of the two.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because on this one, I have to say it's kind of a gaslight for me, because there's so many times in conversations where you'll discuss something hypothetically, and people will get triggered and angry, and they don't stop to remember that we're not discussing something real. We made this up just for the sake of conversation. You actually mad. so you know what I'm saying? So that's it's like, it's touchy, and it happens with men and women. You have a dude tell me, no, so bro, you telling me you wouldn't have my back in this situation? You really? No, you're not loyal, dog. Bro, we're not even in the situation.
So do you feel like it's some truth in hypotheticals?
Okay, that's a great question. Could be. What's the
hypothetical?
I
mean? Because if you're giving me a scenario,
and
it's just a hypothetical, but that scenario has happened before, is it really a hypothetical? Are we using the word right?
Depends. It's a great question.
Because when you break down hypothesis, that's a proposed like explanation of something. Like they're still investigating. It's a starting point. So So have we been using this word wrong the whole time? Like, hey, man, let's give you a hypothetical.
Well, no, hypothesis will be a prediction, right? But it's an educated guess. But it's a prediction of sorts. There's some reasoning and some logic associated with it. So most of the time, if you're using a hypothetical, I guess it has to be to some degree fairly realistic. Like, this situation may not have occurred, but it's possible. And if it did occur, then how would you X, Y, and Z? But those conversations are dangerous.
Because it says athetical. If you took off hypothetical, just means something laid down, absolute or positive, similar to a law.
And then hypo, under, beneath, down, hypoblast, hypodermic, less than normal or normally, hypothesis, hypotension. So in a lower state or oxidation. So hypo and then thetical means what again?
Thetical meant something laid down, absolute or positive or similar to a law.
So essentially they're saying beneath that, hypothetical, right? Something less than absolution or less, but and then by it being rooted in hypothesis, right? Then that brings in the element of like prediction or guessing to a degree. Okay. So, but that goes back to what I said, not real yet or not real at all. It depends on, you know what I mean? Like what do we discuss? Let's make it real. Somebody give us a scenario, chat. What's a hypothetical? And then let me ask you this while the chat get active on this. Do you think it's safe to discuss hypotheticals with your woman on a regular basis?
Not at all. Not at all. And the reason why I probably would have had a different answer before I started this content. Classic. But after watching content, producing content, like I haven't heard a woman answer a yes or no question yet. I haven't heard it at all, dog. Like I'm talking about people going all around the question. Like so nah, I don't think it's safe to ask.
Yeah, them hypotheticals gonna do more harm than good.
I don't think it's safe for men to answer hypotheticals from women.
No. We ducking and dodging. No, I don't know. You know what? Look. I don't know. I'd have to be in that situation. I can't tell. I have no idea. I never put my mind on that before. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Soft rain double talking in here. What's she doing?
A supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. Okay. Yeah, that's a good definition of it. Or break that. What's that? The overview? A supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation.
I think is she doing hypothesis?
It felt like it seemed like hypothesis or the overview of hypothetical. Hypotheticals work in prep for self-preservation, but not in hoping for the best. Oh, elaborate on that, Miles.
Yeah. That's a good one, though.
Yeah, I like that. Elaborate on that for me. Soft Rain said a proposition made as a basis for reasoning without any assumption of its truth. See, that'd be the thing too. It'd be some assumption of truth on them hypotheticals. You ever get asked a hypothetical, you answer it, and then they tell you lying? You lying.
Yeah.
That ain't what you would do. So you already decided for me. So what you asked me for? Miles said thesis, I believe is the root word. Thesis is the root word. Okay. Chris Dale said, yeah, I feel that. Soft Rain said they may become expectations if discussed in relationships.
Elaborate.
Give us something. Yeah, give us something. Yeah. Soft Rain said hypothesis definition. Hypothesis definition. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
yeah, that's what I read. I was like, it got to be a hypothesis.
Yeah.
What you mean? It may become expectations if discussed in a relationship.
Yeah, it depends on what the question is, because see that the question matters. Because normally, see, in hypothetical situations, normally the question is a setup. It's normally a setup. Oh, I'm trying to get your POV or your perspective or whatever on this for said reason. And then there's some enigmatic reason that you don't, or some esoteric reason, and you like, okay, then you trying to figure out how do I answer this without ending up, you feel me, in the doghouse, or whatever the situation is.
Do you think, because this Sunday serve, but everything goes back to what we mainly talk about. Do you feel like hypotheticals have actually ruined a lot of potential relationships? Because like you said, if somebody asks you something, trying to hear your response to it, and they judge you off of that, I feel like we do that a lot in life, where like we'll give somebody a hypothetical and be like, what? And then you don't even want to fool with the person no more.
Yeah, I do. I think hypotheticals, I'll take it a step further. I think assumptions ruin relationships a lot, because like the example I gave you, right? Someone, man or woman, may give their spouse a hypothetical, or their girlfriend or boyfriend a hypothetical, right? And the person answers it to the best of their abilities, and they like, you lying. Well, they might say it like that, but do you mean that? Do you really think I'm lying? Did you already answer for me in your head? And do you think you know me better than I know myself? Or either that, or you think I'm being disingenuous on purpose? But either way, it's kind of a bad situation to be in. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think assumptions, curiosity didn't kill the cat. It was assumptions. Curiosity was wrongfully convicted.
And I was looking at it. It said assumptions or something valid. It said assumptions and hypothesis. So I'm assuming that's what Miles was saying, that the thesis is the root word. So assumptions and hypothesis says validated and invalidated. It says assumptions that will probably kill your. It goes into like all these different studies.
So an assumption is a hypothesis that somebody believes.
That's what it looks like. It says, what's the difference between an assumption and a hypothesis? Let's see. So hypotheses are educated guesses that you hope to test. Let's see. It's a lot of studies done between these things. An assumption is the starting point of a logical argument.
the starting point of a logical argument. I never looked at it like that before.
Me either. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think words are dangerous, dog.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, dog. And that's why I do these code languages, because sometimes we got to get back to, open your books, class. Sometimes we got to get back to knowing what we really saying too, for real. Because, the misuse of something and somebody really understand what it means, they might receive your message wrong. Chris Dale said, what is the science knowledge bones? Is there a typo there? Or something? What is the science knowledge bones? What you mean, Chris? Talk to me. Because I'm not sure how to answer that as asked. But yeah, man, hypotheticals, I think are there's two different things, right? Depending on the frequency and the vibration of the conversation, you could use a lot of hypotheticals to just genuinely learn a person better. You can. If you're on some positive type time and they on some positive type time, when you're young, you remember dating and you played a question game and you and the girl exchange questions and answer each other's questions back and forth to get to, that's kind of hypothetical too. You throw some hypotheticals in there. Would you ever, if you was ever in a situation, would you, whatever, you throw that stuff out there and you could genuinely learn a person better. But if you, given a hypothetical situation to assess character flaws, right? That's the energy behind your hypothetical. A lot of times hypotheticals are already pointed. Right? You hypothetically, if you were surrounded by 10 zebras and 2 lions, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Like, already you put my back against the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of these hypotheticals, sometimes they already paint you in a certain corner, and now you got to try to figure, it could be what we call it, loaded questions. It'd be a loaded hypothetical. That should be a new term that I create, loaded hypothetical.
I will push back a little bit and say too, though, that even answers of a hypothetical question tend to not be true. And the reason why I say that is because, like, especially in the mental health world, right? I don't know if y'all ever did those little studies where they have you fill out like your personality and they give you a color, orange, blue. And I always tell people that stuff's not true, because Classic working in a corporate environment, his color might change because of where he is currently. Like if you're present where your feet are, things change, right? Because Classic can give me a hypothetical today that I feel one way about, but I can get older or gain some wisdom or knowledge, and he can ask me that question a year later, and I can answer it a totally different way. So I always tell people that you got to be very careful with trying to judge people off how they respond. It's just like taking somebody in an emotional situation. If they're emotional at that time, their response is going to become more emotional. That might not be their logical response, but their emotional response is what you got. And then you only remember that emotional response. So that's why I always tell people you got to be very, very careful with like trying to judge people off of when you ask them a question, how you ask them a question, why are you asking the question? You know what I mean? What was the tone of the conversation throughout the day before you asked that question? It's a lot to this stuff. And I'll try to explain to people is like, yeah, them hypotheticals, man, they could change.
Yeah. And you have to, that's where grace comes in, right? Because this is Sunday Serve Us. That's where grace comes in. That's where, having some mercy comes in. I think, you have to give people room to evolve. And then another thing too is, I guess I'm going off on a tangent. Here we go. Let's stay in the comment, because I think I was gonna go off on a tangent. Chris says scientific method answer the theory with a method of investigation. So you're talking about to address a hypothesis, I believe. Hypothetically speaking, a husband asking the wife about possibly adding a sister wife. What you on? Well, you trying to start something today? Classic. Because I think we have been upstanding gentlemen, Deacon Classic. We haven't cursed. We haven't, you know what I mean? Like, and then here comes the antagonist. The chat been chill all day, and here it comes. Brother.
But think about that, Classic. You could break that down deeper, right? Think about this. This answers your question that you just asked me. Because look at how a female broke down that a hypothetical could become an expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Just take that.
Yeah. That's
a
scary.
hypothetical could become an expectation.
Yeah, because
so how are you hearing me? Like, how are you hearing me? Like, if I'm giving you, so did you hear the word hypothetical?
No, it's real now. It's real now. Yeah, see, I was trying not to. I thought because it was Sunday service that there would be none of this.
Natural born crash dummy.
I thought because it was Sunday that we wouldn't have to be here, but I guess we've arrived. When a woman, let me get my Charleston White. When a woman asks you a hypothetical, it's real now. Y'all in that situation, and your answer has everything to do with how she gonna look at you. It's real now. How you could throw hypothetical out the window. Now, if I ask you, Norris, if it's two guys talking and we having a conversation, I say, dog, man, if we in a bar and three dudes approach us and it's 3-on-2 and these dudes got us backed in the corner, hypothetically speaking, man, we want to take our chances, or you gonna try to talk them down? What type of dude is you? You will answer that. I'll take you at your word, but I ain't gonna put too much weight on it because we not in the bar. We not in the corner. Three dudes ain't approaching us. It's not real. It's not. This right here, I don't even want to answer this because it's loaded. It's a loaded hypothetical. I'm coining that term. Loaded hypothetical. It loaded. Hypothetically speaking, a husband asking the wife about possibly adding a sister wife. Brother Souls, would you? No. Do you want to?
No. What did Brother Biles say here? Brother Biles has a response for.
What he say? Miles said, I will hypothesize for a worst case scenario. Hoping for the best is like gambling. Okay. So you getting ready for the worst case outcome, and if it's better than that, you was already in good position. Soft Rain said, no, LOL. It shows he's interested in it. He thinks about it. But that's what I'm saying. See, I'm trying not to. She got good bait on that hook. It's good bait on that hook now. She's trying to get me, dog.
It's almost like we create our own definition even after hearing the definition.
She talking about it shows he's interested in it and he thinks about it. I'm trying not to, she gonna get me because
I think you can answer it without crashing.
I ain't gonna crash. My spirit in the right place today. It's one of them situations where most men, if they could have it their way, would experience some level of variety. And that's so even asking, I mean, his nature is yes. Now, if you gonna tell him how it needs to look, what this polygyny or sister wife setup needs to be, like I covered a reaction video the other day where a woman was like, yeah, I'm open to polygyny if I could pick the girl and she got to look like this and I got to be attracted. And so she took everything out of his hands. Yeah, you could do it if I quarterback the whole setup. I got a point guard the whole thing. But yeah, so on my terms, yes. Right. So if that's the setup, hypothetically, I think most men aren't interested in that at all. And I think that's typically the setup. If you introduce that conversation hypothetically to the Western woman, I think that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get met with, if either no, I'm not open to it at all, that's crazy. Even hypothetically, that's crazy. Or you're gonna get, well, yeah, I'll be cool with it, but she gotta look like, they're gonna start giving you their stipulations and terms and conditions to approve it. And that goes back to my conversation about the permission slip. I don't know if you wanted to do that here, but we have to, it needs to, we're not done with that. But yeah, we definitely not done with that because I haven't got any conclusive nothing on it. So, but yeah, so she said it's all love. Don't crash this Sunday. I ain't gonna crash. I ain't gonna crash.
We ain't.
But yeah,
it's one of those things. I mean, I think people could see. I think we have to understand that these two genders are they're totally different. Like literally, we men are very logical. We hear it, we take it for what it's worth, and that's how we expound on it. A woman will take a word and then create another word out of it. You would take hypothetical and make it an expectation.
That's tough.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like literally the definition of making making something to to a molehill? What's it? What they call?
Oh yeah, molehill to a mountain.
Yeah, that's literally that. Like we went from that means we almost can't even have casual conversation, because in everything I say, I have to be so cautious on what I say, because it could be something you either think I expect or something that you want to start making into an expectation.
And that's manipulation
at its finest.
That's manipulation. And it could be gaslighting as well. Yeah.
That's why I always tell people I think it's more female narcissists than it will ever be narcissist men. When you break down the full definition of a narcissist, women, I think, has more traits than men do to become a narcissist.
I agree.
We just give women more grace, so we don't look into things as deep as like a woman looks into men.
Yeah, I agree. Because I will add to that and say that men get humbled by life a lot more often. So even if you try to be on your high horse, there's many things in this world that's gonna knock you off a few times over. So you know, at some point you start to settle in and realize, okay, like whatever I achieve, whatever I obtain, whatever I gain, you know, in the words of John Legend, we ordinary people. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, you know, you still got to sit down and squat and take a, you know, and get the waist out like everybody else. Like you ain't, you know what I mean? So Soft Rain said, I said it may become. See, and that's the danger of it. Because I'm gonna be real, it don't even come off like that. It come off like it's real now. I'm telling you, when a woman lay out the hypothetical for you, it's real now. Answer it like it's gonna happen tomorrow. If you go, first off, I'd advise you not to answer. Because they loaded. The hypotheticals are loaded. They're loaded. So I would say not to answer. But if you must, answer it like it's a real situation. And I would tell you to go the political route. Yeah. Be political. Don't do it. The absolute truth will not set you free.
At all.
I hate to tell the truth, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, that's the last segment. That's the code language, the hypotheticals. So if you like what you just saw, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and jump in the comments. Talk to me so we could crack these codes. If you want to support the channel monetarily, go to my website and cop some merch, www.theclassiccodes.com. Or you can shoot me a Cash App. Either way, stick to the codes.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold.